So there is also a concept called as Lokas. One thing that we have to keep in mind is like there are different dimensions that are separate. Within each dimension, there are lokas or worlds. Yeah. I couldn't find an exact word for lokas in English, but when I say worlds, it is lokas. Yeah. So those lokas is like these are the lokas like Satya Loka, Tapa, Jana, and currently we are in Bhur Loka, which is Bhumi. That is where our solar system is as well, and there could be 14 different worlds. So there are after our loka where we are, there are 6 above, and there are a few up till 8 till 14 below these lokas. And in there, in all these lokas, only light can pass. Yeah, and that divine light is nothing but Shiva. So when we say Shiva, that is nothing but this light, that divine light. And Shiva is also called as Mahakal. Mahakal, Kal means time, yeah? So he's also associated with time. He's also associated with Agni, which is, the fire, and the divine light. So only Shiva, that energy can pass in all these 14 lokas. Yeah. In the current Bhuloka is like we all have been pushed from this particular black hole, which is like the root. That is what Vedas say. The root is nothing but I forgot the name. So it's in the Sagittarius nakshatra zodiac, and it is the Mula. I remember now. It's the Mula nakshatra, and it's in the Sagittarius zodiac. And that's where we all have been, pulled to this Bhuloka. Once we all are pulled into this particular loka, Maya, because of Maya, we forget who we are, and we think that our body, our physical body, is the reality. We don't. We forget that there is a subtle realm, and there's also a causal realm, and we all are just going in these 14 different lokas as per our karmas. And there are 84 lakh species that we can take form. It could be, so human species is just one species of the 84 lakh. And in this human species, there are, various 4 lakh human species are mentioned in Vedas as well. We are just one human species at the moment, but then there are 4 lakh human species in total. Yeah. And so in this Loka, this is like the entire, like all the constellation, and our solar system only passes through these few zodiac signs, which is called as like the ecliptic, and there is like the supermassive black hole which is present here in Sagittarius, called as Mula Nakshatra. Mula means root, and that is where we all have been, pulled into this particular reality. But there is a possibility of traveling to other realities as well. And we could travel using this divine energy or divine light, which is the Shiva. So that energy is called as Shiva. So is that understandable?
Yes, I think so. It's really interesting. I've heard of, Patal Loka. It's just interesting to see a layout of the 14 different worlds. So you were saying that divine light can pass through all of these realms, is that right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, and you're saying it's known as Shiva. You know what it's making me think of? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's making me think of that story when Brahma and Vishnu were having some argument, and then they wanted to see which one of them was supreme, and so then they wanted to find the top or the bottom of the pillar of light, which represented Shiv. And so is that pillar of light what you're talking about?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. So that is this channel. You see this pillar of light?
Yes.
I think it's called as Axis Mandai or something like that, where Shiva can, that Shiva or the divine light, that energy can pass.
Oh, wow.
And even in modern physics, they have come up with concepts of multiple universes,
Yes.
and also the concept of wormhole, where you could pass from one universe to another universe. And this is just recently that the modern physics has found out, but Vedas, which are probably like thousands of years old, they have already mentioned all these lokas. They have already mentioned that there could be time travel using this divine light energy.
Oh, so this divine light energy, that or that pillar of light, that we know in the ship, is that the one that's parallel with the wormhole, or is that different?
No. So the wormhole is like in between these two loka, for example, like
Yeah.
Loka and Bhuvar Loka. The divine light will pass. So that portal is the wormhole between these two. The divine light can pass like between all of this, and in between us as well.
Yeah.
So we will see how the divine light Shiva is important.
That's really interesting. And I just think of people who've had, although I know I need to look more into various stories of people with near-death experiences. I know I've heard of people with near-death experiences who typically see them going towards this dark tunnel and seeing a light at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories of accounts of how some people have been in such a beautiful world where they're in this beautiful place where everything is colorful and beautiful, but except it looks more vibrant and colorful, like when they, in a way that they can't describe. It's more vibrant and colorful than they would normally see on Earth, but they're not able to describe it articulately. So I'm wondering whether whether people who have near-death experiences, whether maybe their consciousness or their soul kind of travels to
within this channels, which is like these. So what they see is that divine light, and they feel extreme bliss because what happens is once this divine light is activated, or we feel that, we also experience something called as soma inside our body. So that soma is nothing but love. So that is like extreme bliss. So that is what they experience as well. And what's the other question that you asked me, sir?
Just another question is that I know that people talk about the DMT molecule or the spirit molecule. I wonder whether that's also
So we will see in the further slide how DMT and all these concepts are, interlinked. I know, like you also mentioned about the seven realms, how seven is, connected to do these time travel. We will also understand that.
Yeah, although I know here you said there are 14 realms.
And so these are 14 lokas. But what is the number 7? So we will see in the future slides what is 7.
Okay, you're looking forward. Yes.
So it is clear so far. We live in a 4-dimensional world at the moment. And the 5th dimension was like the head or our psychic ability as well. And there are 14 different lokas. So the Sanskrit word is lokas. And in the current loka, which is our Bhu loka, we have been pulled from this root, which is nothing but the nakshatra Mula. Every nakshatra has got a planet associated to it. So the planet associated with Mula is, can you believe it? What it could be? The graha associated with Mula, because it's a past.
Ketu.
Correct. So the planet associated with Mula is Ketu, and the deity associated with it is Ganesha.
Yes.
Yeah, Ganesha is like the child of Shiva. So this divine light, so a child of that is and also associated with Lotus as well. We will see why. Yeah. So that divine